Hey, good evening. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, beautiful day outside. It's a little muggy, but it's not as hot as it's been. Welcome to our show tonight. Tonight, we're going to discuss the title Lizzo Obama Lives Matter. Good evening, Dr. Short.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm white, brother. I'm white.
Well, you need to be.
As they say, I might have the complexion for the connection going in the weekend.
Well, it's not the complexion, it's the connection between your thighs.
Will I get the preferential treatment too?
Well, as long as you've got stamina, nobody likes a dud. The first Jim Crow thing was the vagina. It doesn't like stuff that's not stand up. It doesn't have an accepted policy. You know, dudes will take any sloppy hole, but it's very different for the hole itself. A whole different standard. Let's be honest about this.
Well, we have some interesting topics going on in the world. I know you're not really into that entertainment thing. You could care less about that stuff.
I,
But
I, I, I ignore it as best I can.
our our favorite friend Lizzo has made news of
She's- I don't have friends that size.
I actually Dr. Short was funny about her is I actually defended her a couple times. Um I thought she was sincere, and then I started seeing the same thing, crying out like a victim
Well,
all the time.
she's sincerely overweight, and she's sincerely a negative influence, and she's sincerely nasty, and she's sincerely a disgrace. She's very sincere. In fact, the emphasis of first syllable, sin. She should be called sin centered instead of sincere. Okay.
Well, apparently, some dancers of hers that was part of her entourage, they're suing her and said that she had them doing performances with bananas. And according to NBC News, I'll read the article. They were rape shamed and pressured while at a strip club. Three former dancers have filed a suit against Lizzo, accusing the singer of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment. Me too. Hmm. Three of Lizzo's former dancers have accused the singer of sexual harassment and creating a hostile work environment in a lawsuit filed Tuesday. They also allege that she pressured one of them to touch a nude performer at an Amsterdam club and subjected the group to excruciating audition after leveling false accusation that they were drinking on the job.
Hmm. She's awful, man. This is you can't help a person that's nasty like her, right?
The,
You just can't.
the suit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court provided to NBC News by plaintiff's law firm, also accusing the captain of Lizzo's dance team of proselytizing to other performers and deriding those who had premarital sex while sharing lewd sexual fantasies, simulating oral sex, and publicly discussing the virginity of one of the plaintiffs.
Hmm.
So they were in Amsterdam. They was trying to get their freak on.
Well, a lot of these passport holes are doing that. The real thing is that nobody wants a human waterbed for a person to care about. Come on, it's not real. It's not. I mean, let's be honest. Fat is ugly. Fat is unhealthy. Fat is out of order. Fat is not the norm. Fat is a sign of unhealthiness. And we should stop pretending. And there's no such thing as body positivity. When a woman has a double mastectomy, you don't call her body positivity when her titties are cut off or when you're missing a testicle or a leg. Can you imagine talking body positivity to a quadriplegic? I'm not trying to say that it's good. You feel bad that people have lost limbs and all. It's not positive that something isn't functioning. It's not positive when all your teeth are gone or when you're going blind. Now, there's resilience. There's resilience in the human spirit when you overcome these bodily afflictions or losing a limb or an arm, or but you don't say, "Oh, that's great," and "Oh, it's so wonderful." Oh, wow, you have an artificial kidney. I mean, you're happy that someone is able to get around, but you don't tell them that's a great accomplishment. I remember watching a documentary, and this guy who was basically a screw all, suck all, fuck all type gay trick. And this video was about people with AIDS and says, "We're going to keep fighting. I'll never stop fighting." And they're making this person who had HIV/AIDS due to their own sexual promiscuity some kind of a freedom fighter or hero. Instead of saying, "Dude, you'd live a lot longer if you had fewer people that you slept with. No matter what your sexuality was, you're not a hero. You're a goddamn degenerate. You're a deviant. You're a public health risk," as is Lizzo. She's a public health risk. And what trying to have a woman eat a banana that's been in the woman's vagina, whatever it is that she's done. I mean, she's filthy. She's nasty. She's fat. She can sing. A lot of people can sing and have never stooped to the low depths that she has to get attention. And in fact, the only reason she can play flutes is because she can't eat them.
Well, yeah, last year she got attention by playing the flute of Andrew Jackson.
No, it was Thomas Jefferson's flute.
That makes that even worse. So I know that she's seems to be always in the news, always wanting attention, always trying to call to saying that people have been fat shaming her, but
they should. She's a disgrace. She's degenerate. I'm glad they're doing it. Not enough people are doing this to her. More people need to sandbag her. Shut up, go away, lose some weight. Find God and find an obesity reduction colony. In fact, she's really great. Resurrect Jenny Craig. Maybe she can give you some tips on how you can come up.
Yeah, I thought that was a very interesting thing. They talking about bananas, and it's amazing how the society nowadays is just, if you say something or you push back on this type of behavior, you're the bad person. We lost Dr. Short for a minute, you guys. He'll be back. So you guys in the chat, what do you think about this Lizzo thing? Tell us your opinion about it. Fat facts. Yeah, she is an attention freak and then tries to use the bailout mental health stuff as always an excuse on why she moved the way she moved. And that's another thing that we have a problem in our community with, using mental health as like this bailout for degenerative behavior with no accountability. You want to say, "Oh, I got mental issues," or "I'm going through something." Next thing you know, everybody off of you. So that's like the new go-to when somebody do some dumb shit in public. My mental health is bothering me, or I got issues. But she did make a statement. I'm going to find her statement, you guys. Hold up. One second. So this is what she said. She made a statement on Twitter. It says here, Lizzo has issued her first response to the bombshell lawsuit from 3 tourist dancers who claimed that they were subjected to sexual harassment, weight shaming, calling them false accusations, and sensationalizing stories. In a statement posted Thursday morning to her Twitter account, the star said the allegations in the lawsuit that she and her company created a hostile work environment that also included religious and racial discrimination was unbelievable, and they sound too outrageous to not be addressed. I am not the villain that people in the media have portrayed me to be these last few days, Lizzo wrote. I am very open with my sexuality and expressing myself, but I cannot accept or allow people to use that openness to make me out to be something I am not. The star paid particular attention to a claim in the lawsuit that she said called attention to a dancer's weight gain, an especially loaded allegation against an artist who has made body positivity a central aspect of her personal brand. There is nothing I take more serious than the respect we deserve as a woman in this world. I know what it feels like to be body shamed on a daily basis and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. It's amazing with this case that a lot of people, if you look at the comments on social media, nobody believes her. Nobody believes Lizzo, and it's a lot of people that feel as though that she's lying, and they just don't believe that she is telling the truth. Hold on, you guys, I've got to get Dr. Short back. They don't believe that she's telling the truth about all this stuff, and they tend to think that she's, as they say, she's caping right now. Hold on, you guys. Lost Dr. Short for a second. Mm. He'll be back. No idols, you said. Even whales, other sea life, and wildlife are turning their backs on her now. Celebrity world has like groups of these weirdo Lizzo, weirdo Lil Nas X, Meg the Horse, Myrlie, Virus Cyrus, that new guys, Sam something. You talking about Sam Smith, who's just crazy. Sam Smith was very manly when he came out, and then all of a sudden he just went a whole another direction with his Devil's Dante Inferno performance at the Grammys. Yeah, that was an interesting performance at the Grammys. Yeah, so hopefully Dr. Short join us. But yeah, you guys, I wanted to talk about that with the Lizzo thing. I know Dr. Short had wanted to address it. And, the issue with Biden trying to get these African countries to bow down to this LGBTQ agenda, or he's going to put a whole bunch of sanctions on these African countries, the African countries kicking French out. It's a lot going on in the world. Dr. Short, as you guys know, has traveled the world. He has a lot of information on what goes on with world politics. And we're just going to address it. But you notice how the news is not talking about President Obama's chef.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Dr. Short.
Yeah, it just went out. I don't know what's going on today. When you start telling the truth up in here, all kinds of weird things happen. I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
Obama's chef. And also that letter. I think I sent you a letter he sent to his girlfriend about all of these just uncontrolled lust fantasies of him wanting to have sex with large numbers of men. I mean, not one letter, but lots of them. I'm thinking, what kind of man needs to tell a woman how often he thinks about having sex with dudes? I mean, and he fantasized about it. I mean, I would feel slighted if I thought that I had grade A pussy and you're telling me about sticking your thing in somebody's poop, what's the thing? Poop shoot. I would feel very offended. What's wrong with the cooch I have? It's just not, and is that why you called a dude's name when you were on top of me? No, you did. Yes, you did. I mean, and he was with the white girl, so he's probably trying to get her to do some anal, like give him some pointers. And
Yeah.
so
Barry Soweto. What was his name? Yeah, Barry Soweto. That's what Judge Joe Brown called him, Barry Soweto.
that's Sotero.
Yeah. Yeah.
I there's something wrong here. Someone's lying.
Mm.
Oh my God. I'm looking at this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm sitting here. Anyway, look, Obama chef, there's a story there. All kinds of odd stuff happening, what I call Massachusetts. It's just really weird. It's weird. It's weird in Massachusetts. It really is.
I know a lot of people said mainstream media. I don't watch mainstream media. I
Mhm.
know they probably ain't even talking about it, which don't surprise nobody.
Well, why would they? Because they do a lot of the same stuff. Having worked in the mainstream media place, there's all kinds of racism and injustice there. And you know what you do? You pretend that there's no racism in there.
Hmm.
You pretend like that stuff doesn't happen. Of course, there's racism, but not here. Like, there's no racism in a wealthy northeastern or midwestern state just down south. Yeah. No, the problem is systemic. It's national. It's everywhere.
And all they want to do, Dr. Short, is force Trump on black people. Like, black people don't care about that. Nobody cares about that January 6th. Nobody cares about that stuff.
I was there January 6th, and anybody looking at that thing can see more that was going on than what they're telling you about. Uh, of course, shouldn't storm any place, any house, any property that's not yours. And I don't support people trying to do anything that's dangerous. But at the same time, I know what it's like to see maybe 40 people who are not Trump people with gas mask on
Mhm.
at the rally that I attended. And everybody knew who the hell are these people, right? And
Mhm.
that we're doing our thing. All of a sudden, all these people went up there as if it was coordinated. Someone had something, several people, groups of people had stuff planned. I know personally that I, along with another few people, wanted to have a meeting with the Capitol, I'm sorry, not with the Capitol, with the DC police to make certain that nothing bad happened. I'm just telling you what personally I wanted with others to do so there would not be the kind of problem that there was. And the police arrested people and did stuff and did not allow that to happen. Well, certain people could have been checked. In particular, the Proud Boy stuff could have been checked. Maybe some of the Proud Boys would have done what they're going to do, but some would not. I'm not trying to advocate for the Proud Boys. I'm trying to say that the police could have met with these people because they knew they were there. They had intelligence. They had all kinds of stuff. So we really don't know all of what happened. But look, more black folks are talking about January 6th than the fact that Matula Shakur died recently, that you have black political prisoners who've been in jail for decades and nothing's been done about it. One of them just.
We lost you for a second, Dr. Short. Hopefully, you guys, he'll be right back. Yeah, Dr. Short.
You need to send me to. You need to. You need to send me a link to another number, so because this keeps cutting off.
All right. Yeah, I got you in this phone.
Do you have another one, or do you want me to send you a number?
I sent it to your other phone number.
Okay. Um, what are the last four of the phone?
4265.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna pull that up. How did you send it? What mode did you send it via?
I sent it through a text, regular text.
It's not in here.
All right, send me that number again real quick, Dr. Short. I think I got that number down. Oh, no. Excuse me. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it now. 1 second. It's coming to you now.
Yeah, I see it. And please tell the audience, this is just unusual that just kept cutting off over and over and over again. I'm almost done. I'm going to put a screen name in here.
Mm-hmm. You guys in the chat, if you don't mind, hit the like button. That's the way to be. You guys know how the algorithm is. That'll allow the show to grow and get more viewership.
Yeah, actually, take a moment to like this. Take a moment to share this program. Take a moment to share other. We have some very good interviews. Several of them have done over 1,000 views. One is 6,000 for a new channel. That's very, very, very good. Very, very, very good. And so like it, share it. And yet we can even do a commercial thing. We are self-funded. Backpack is a group I'm with. There are several groups, but Backpack, BACPAC.info. And also, of course, always support people. A Zelle or PayPal for me is wrandyshort@gmail.com. And the Cash App is Dr. Randy Short. So you can always help us out, encourage, because we're bringing it. And I'm about to bring this to you right now. And I want to also let people know we're anticipating doing some more launches, and also we're going to be doing a lot of content. And we want to remind everybody that 4321, HR 4321 is awful. It's terrible. It's a Black genocide bill. Everybody needs to know about it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. If you want to support people who are fighting that, you can look up Backpack, BACPAC.info, sign a petition, get information. You can make a donation. And of course, if you want to reach me directly, I am the president of a very small but effective organization. My email is wrandyshort@gmail, which is my Zelle and PayPal. And I respond to serious people. I have to say that because a lot of our people lack decorum and respect and so forth. It's like that video, my brother, with the guy who steals footage from your little teeny channel.
Yeah.
And then wants to talk about how Black people aren't so bad, and yet as a Black person, he's stealing from your channel. When he could write you, he could ask you, but he elected to steal from you. That dude who has a hair that looks like he got a weave from Old Dog, from Menace to Society. He needs a hearing aid. He needs a super comb. He needs a suppository and some Metamucil and some Similac.
I'm going to switch the other phone out, Dr. Short, now.
Oh, well, you don't want to use both?
Oh, you could use both. It's perfectly fine.
That's why I have it set up, just in case there's no issue.
You want me to put both of them in the stream?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
Get that echo.
I tell you what.
I muted that one. I muted the one of them.
Okay, and I'll always be ready to just turn unmuted when the opportunity presents itself if
Yeah.
this thing gives me difficulty.
So,
That's wonderful.
Dr. Short, you had alluded before we had the phone problem issue to Mutulu Shakur.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people, definitely my generation, only thing they know is Tupac's stepfather. But explain to us exactly who he was and what he was doing before he
Well,
became a political prisoner.
I will do this. I will give you a number to my friend who was the naturopathic doctor taking care of Mutulu Shakur up until he died recently, for you to really go into depth for what Mutulu Shakur is about, because we're not that far apart in age. And whereas certain people keep saying I'm an elder, not exactly. What happened with me is that I was always interested in adult stuff, except for sex, when I was young. And people would take me to all of these places, and you'd meet all the radical and outspoken people. And I didn't mind that. I've always thought that was fascinating to be around people talking about political prisoners, politics, Black nationalism, Black power, so forth, from the time I was 3, 4 years old, which means my frame of reference is, although I'm 58, my frame of reference is basically, in terms of what I've been looking at, is about 52, 53 years that I could remember stuff and watch stuff. And actually a little longer, because you can remember the riots and you can remember seeing Stokely Carmichael and seeing people and remembering the big protest in Washington in the late 60s. You saw it. So let me just do this. Mutulu Shakur was in the Republic of New Africa, and you can all look that up, or we can do a show on the Republic of New Africa, since you brought this up, since it's a curveball. So I didn't come in here with the whole idea of the Republic of New Africa. But the Republic of New Africa was one of the first Black grassroots revolutionary organizations that believed in self-defense alongside the Black Panthers. They existed too. They believed in self-defense, reparations, and that Black people should have their own nation within the United States. Okay, and that's the short part of it. And they wanted to holistically empower Black people. Most people don't hear anything about the Republic of New Africa. There's maybe only 1 or 2 books that you can get in print, but he was a part of that. And what Mutulu Shakur was doing successfully is using acupuncture to get Black people off of heroin and other addictive drugs in New York. Now, what I want to say to you is the CIA, the American Central Intelligence Agency, in its beginnings to this day, has a Black budget, and a significant part of the money that it uses to operate worldwide is drawn off the sale of narcotics, initially to Black people in Harlem, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Newark, and Chicago. So Mutulu Shakur and others trying to get Black people off of drugs in the 60s is messing with the money of the government's intelligence services, among other things. The mafia is involved, and there are a lot of people. This is absolutely drugs, even the weed that stupid, dumb fuck Black people smoke, thinking that they're doing something progressive. And the shit's addictive and cancer causing, and they've manipulated and GMO'd the stuff. All of this stuff, drugs and all this, makes money for people to kill us. We recreationally subsidize our extermination. Those people in the Republic of New Africa, as well as the Black Panther Party, were very much against drugs and weed. They didn't want this because they understood it was a war against our people. They were very angry that Mutulu Shakur and others were using acupuncture and other things to get people off of heroin, which was the main moneymaker for the CIA from the 1940s up until the 80s. where cocaine became the thing.
Okay.
Okay, let me finish. What they did, he was so effective, they began trying to accuse them of doing things. And ultimately, one day they went in and shot up the clinic that was helping people and blamed Mutulu Shakur for the death of a white gentleman who he worked with as they were trying to kill Mutulu Shakur. They railroaded him, put him in jail. And let me bring this back to a familiar note for the little nigga with the ugly hair and the stupid attitude that looks like he's in a recovery program and he needs to go back in because you didn't complete your work. The Black elite and others, you don't hear Jesse Jackass or Al Sharpton or any of them talking about Black political prisoners because the so-called niggas that you look up to for leadership have made certain that the true people who were willing to even die for you, you Black people listening, who've been in jail, some of them nearly 60 years, never get out. The real people who really cared have been warehoused, killed, destroyed, or exiled. And the phonies, the ones for sale, the ones pushing pedophilia, the ones pushing for illegals, the ones pushing for intersectionality, the ones pushing for people of color, the ones pushing for the Office of New Americans that helps illegals while Black Americans are homeless. Those people haven't busted a fucking grape to get the hundreds of Black political prisoners out. And every now and then, one of them gets pardoned in their 70s or 80s, and everyone calls it a great victory and they have a party and dance the Congo line. And shortly thereafter, that person dies. Or those people become totally reactionary because they've spent so many years in jail, they've suffered, they've lost everything, and come out of jail and find out that the Black people they gave everything up for couldn't give a flying fuck about them dying or being in jail or them losing everything or not getting to see their families. And all of the Black groups in the ACP, you name them, or whether they're Black or not, they're blackface, they let these people die. The true people who would give their very lives like somebody in the New Testament of the Bible for their people, they rot in prison. They die. And we're such, when you see a lot of sellouts, a lot of coons, when you learn that so many of our people let people who literally gave their lives willingly, were selfless for a cause, for Black people to have dignity, freedom, reparations, like the Republic of New Africa, and people rot in jail for nothing. And you got 60 Blacks in Congress, Black lieutenant governors, things like that bitch that just died in New Jersey, who never opened her mouth for Sada Shakur, who's a beautiful woman, a lovely woman. I've met her once, 22 years ago in Cuba. It's outrageous. Obama, that punk, fag, I'm sorry, who could have freed Black political prisoners. By the way, as much as Black people hate Trump, I made a proposition to people that knew the president to free Black political prisoners. And guess what the catch was? The Black people, some of them that work with political prisoners, and Mutulu Shakur's name was at the top of the list of people I felt should and could be released, because I was working with people who are Republican. I got put on a do not speak to list and they froze me out. My point was, trust me, Black Democrats nor Republicans even speak up for issues that most Black people want. You mean you got a person talking to Republicans about Black political prisoners and got a hearing? And their response to me is that you're a sellout, you're an Uncle Tom. That's why I didn't give a fuck about that nappy-headed liar that made that video. You don't know anything. You don't know anything until you learn that. I remember a conversation in this very house with Malcolm Shabazz, grandson of Malcolm X, who told me when he was in jail that Jesse Jackson made all this news that he was going to go to the prison to see Malcolm X's grandson. He went to the jail, shook his hand, got a photo op and pushed him away and got a photo off of him and never talked to him for more than a second.
Wow.
Okay, this is who these people are. The people that you look up to. Black History Month and the news people have them on CNN and MSNBC. The pundits, they don't give a flying damn about us. And so Matula Shakur is a freedom fighter, a great man, a good man, changed a lot of lives, and they destroyed him because he found a way to get Black people off of drugs. And the lifeblood of American terror and torture is the CIA as well. It operates in America, and they need us drugged up, weeded up, smoked up, morbidly obese. They need us to be deviants. They need us to be gay. They need us to be non-binary. They need us to be suicidal. And at this moment, Black youth blowing their brains out, in particular young Black men with handguns and guns, we're now topping white kids with committing suicide. They want hopelessness. They want misery. They want destruction. And they're getting it with the cooperation of Black elites who don't care a fuck about 90% of Black folks. That's our situation. Obama doesn't give a fuck. Lizzo doesn't give a fuck. Manshell, or if you want, Michelle or Michael, don't give a goddamn. We're in bad shape. And there are a lot of folks that you look to, you think, if these people gave a damn, if the churches of other people cared, things would be very different. So I feel for Matula Shakur. There are other people. H. Rap Brown, or better known as his Islamic name for people, Jamil Al-Amin, who did nothing wrong, who is in jail underground in Colorado somewhere. There are lots of these people, hundreds of these people, and thousands and thousands and thousands of Black people in jails, through to the Biden bill. And most of your dumb fuck listeners, if they voted for Biden. This man created a bill that destroyed millions of Black lives, and all the women bitching about men being broke and not having houses and property. When you go to jail and when you get locked up, you get your civic life destroyed, whether true or false. Charges. You aren't really able to be a functional economic human being in America. The one person that tried to do something about that of recent times, Jerron Smith, a brother that worked for Donald Trump, who created the First Step Act that Donald Trump gets the credit for. That First Step Act got destroyed by the Divine Nine, Vice President Kamala Harris, AKA, and Joe Biden. In case most people don't know, prisoners across the country rioted when Joe Biden was inaugurated. Donald Trump, who people have been told to just hate more than the devil himself, did more to help Black folks locked up, as jacked up as Donald Trump can be, did way more than Obama ever did, or Biden, or Clinton. And so we can have a discussion on Black radicalism. I would like to do that with Dr. Winters, and we can talk about the Republic of New Africa. We can do another discussion on that. But we want to talk about fat, jellyback, jellyfish, Grimace with a dildo, Lizzo, and Ofaga, and the dead chef, and all the other freaky things. If you've ever lived in New England and Massachusetts, how queer and strange it is up there.
It was 8 feet of pool. He drowned at 8 feet. An average swimmer.
You believe that? Okay. I nearly drowned, but in 10 feet of water, and it's probably 3 feet tall, and I didn't know how to swim at all, and I almost got out of the damn pool. You need a person that knew how to swim, couldn't do that, and 8 feet couldn't have been that far from the shore, any of that. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. And look at how quickly the story has disappeared. It's in the foreign press and not in the domestic press. However, this new letter that's come out where Obama writes about his fantasies of having sex with men, I sent it to you. Please share it with people so they can see it. There's something there. This would be the 5th Black man that has died that I'm aware of that has some association with Barack Obama. Definitely 4 of them homosexuals. 3 in Chicago, 1 in DC, and we also need to remind people, Reggie Love, Obama's personal assistant. I have a dear associate who allegedly has pictures of Reggie Love, who has a white man's scrotum sack on his forehead with a smile on his face, as well as pictures of him sodomizing white men in their buttocks. That was Obama's personal assistant, who he took trips to Hawaii with, not taking his wife and daughters. Let me do more. The steward, the man who took care of the president of the White House, was arrested for soliciting sex in the restroom in Washington, D.C. in 2010. And that story was covered up. And he was referred to Obama by President George W. Bush. And nothing was said about this. As I said, this is the District of Caligula. You can't prove anything by me. Living here in D.C., it's exactly what it is. Obama has all the telltale signs of being a person who has a double life. He was raised by a drag queen Indonesian. You have a man that's involved in sex work as your nanny when your parents are away. Let me just say something to you, because folks lie. There are plenty of folks who are gay who only bother adults. And there are a whole bunch of gay folks that don't mind messing with some kids. This whole drag queen story hour and all this stuff and how people acted Pride Month is proof that folks want to sexualize kids. So let me ask you, if I leave, and let me add this, the Indonesian is Asian. You're a black man and so am I. And I will say this, when I was being operated on with my heart surgery, the white nurses were complaining about how small my dick was. People are obsessed with black people's dicks. The dummies forget I have congestive heart failure. If you don't have proper blood flow, your weenie's not going to be as big. It is about blood flow, right? If I'm operating below capacity, it's not going to be as big. I'm glad it wasn't big enough to get their attention. I may have cut it off while I was asleep. Would have woke up and says, "Oh, there was a complication when we were operating," and so I'm glad they were turned off. But can you imagine hearing white women talk over your dick and shit? It's like being a body in a casket. It's nasty. Washington Hospital Center. Be careful. This needs to change. I did complain when I was in the hospital to black women. I knew they weren't going to do anything. They couldn't handle those white women. Black women act powerful only when they're destroying a black man or his family. They're weaklings when they go up against white men and white women or any other group of people. The only time a black woman has power in America is to kill babies, to hurt other black women or hurt black men or hurt herself. She don't have no power that white people don't give her. Not typically. Yeah, I said it. Stop lying.
Yeah, Dr. Short, if you get a chance, send me that article again. I'm looking for it. I don't know which thread it's actually in, but it's
No, no,
amazing
no.
how.
I will send it to you right now.
Okay. But what's interesting is how a lot of the Democrats, even the stuff when Ed Buck was running around in California, having sex with all those men, getting high, into all that crazy stuff, and
He
nobody said
wasn't
nothing.
having, he was executing them. That's not sex when you drug people and kill them.
Mm.
That's not sex. That's not that's not sex. You opened up the mic, I shut one.
Okay.
I'm opening the other mic. Okay.
Yeah.
He's-
It should be good now. I could just hear echo in the background. Yeah, both of your mics is muted, Dr. Short, on your end. Yeah, both of them still muted.
I sent that to you.
There you go.
So Obama is a degenerate liar, and our people love liars, whether they're in cults. Oh my God! Newsflash! 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 Dr. Ogletree, a lawyer who advocated for reparations, has died at the age of 70.
Wow.
I was just talking about him a few weeks ago, and may have even been on your show. I was making reference to the fact that I went to some of the people that were talking about reparations and said, isn't there a way that could be grassroots support for what he was doing with Johnny Cox?
You said he just passed away? Dr. Short. Yeah, you're right. We do need to keep an eye on Dr. Anderson. I lost connection with Dr. Short. I can't hear him. I can hear you now, Dr. Short.
Okay. There's just an echo.
Do you want me to pull up Dr. Ogletree's stuff?
Yeah, pull that up for a moment. Give me a moment. I'm going to switch phones.
All right. Here's the article, family. Charles Ogletree, legal scholar who championed reparations, dies at 70. Longtime Howard law professor, all represented.
No,
Anita
he's at
Hill.
Harvard. Please keep them separate. Harvard, not Howard.
Oh, I thought I said Harvard. Harvard law professor, all represented Anita Hill, Tupac Shakur, and the survivors of 1921 Tulsa race massacre.
Yeah.
One of them is still open. Hold on. There you go. Hold up. Charles Ogletree. Here we go.
Yeah, Charles Ogletree.
The cause was Alzheimer's disease, says Rachel K. Reed, a Harvard Law School spokesman. Mr. Ogletree announced in 2016 he was diagnosed with the disease.
Wow. 70 with Alzheimer's.
That's young.
No, that's the jab.
Yeah.
That's the jab. 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 That's the jab.
Hey, could you guys in the chat hear us? They should be able to hear us.
So, no.
They can hear us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the
70
jab.
years old. That's just,
Jab.
So, Dr. Short, do you want to, I know we talking about Lizzo and,
Yeah, we can deal with that whole.
do you want to give us some more insight on Dr. Ogletree?
Just, I'm going to say that he was a professor.
Okay, they could hear us. Yeah, so you guys in the chat, I know you guys might not understand what's going on, but we're having a little bit of problems, technical difficulties, and then at the end of the day, when you prepare to do a show and you're talking about a subject, and then you get some news about one of our heroes, one of our icons, one of our leaders, it kind of changes what you intend to talk about, and you definitely want to give Dr. Charles Ogletree his flowers. Dr. Short dropped off again. Yeah, we're having some issues right now, you guys, so just be patient with us if you can. He'll join back in. So hopefully he join back in. Just give us 1 second.
Yeah, your thing is not working today, man. This is craziness.
Yeah, Dr. Short is back, you guys.
We need to give this a rest, man, and get this under order, man, because it becomes frustrating for the listener. It's disconcerting for me. I can't figure out what's going on. It's not going to go well. Do you want to just pause it and do a part 2 or something? Because this is going to be rough.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out, you guys, in the chat, and we're gonna end the broadcast because we don't want to, have a janky shit keep going on. But we're gonna further the discussion. We'll probably be back on a little later, figure out what's going on with that. Everybody have a great night until then, and we'll see you guys a little later.
Mm-hmm.